We like to think of ourselves as a nation of animal lovers, but it's not always true. Each year, the Scottish SPCA has to save thousands of domestic pets, horses and farm animals, and wildlife from harm and danger. We're taking a peek behind the scenes at the charity to find out how they rescue Scotland's injured, abandoned, and abused animals. Coming up, eggs are going cheap in the Highlands.
You incubate them in here.
And it's sink or swim for Inspector Nikki near Paisley.
There's a good chance I'm going to get wet.
Scottish SPCA Senior Inspector Andy Brown is having a busy day. It's mid-morning near Inverness, and a deer has been knocked down and seriously injured on the bustling A96. It's a fate suffered by tens of thousands of deer every year. Like this poor young doe, many don't die instantly. There's only one thing Andy can do.
Not good at all. You're seeing there's no movement in the back end at all. Bit of trauma around the hip. Obviously, let's see this busy road here. Hit by a car, I would imagine. So there's not a lot of hope. I'm just going to relieve its suffering and just put out its misery.
Already today, Andy's checked out a tawny owlet which fell out of its nest at a grain refinery.
I take it he's in there, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, wow.
He's just there.
There's no injury at all? You haven't seen any injury?
No, when he was down, he was actually attempting to fly, and when he was down at ground level. And he was getting a few feet before he sort of landed again. His wings seemed fine.
Fine, yeah.
But he's not ready to fly yet.
And you reckon it's that exhaust pipe up there?
Yeah. Crows? Would the crows
No,
bother him?
not in here, I don't think so.
With the owl safe, Andy then rescued a lamb from some travellers on the outskirts of the Highland capital. It was tethered to a caravan and was receiving no treatment for a nasty disease called ORF that can be picked up by humans.
ORF is a viral disease of sheep. Thank you. The lesions are presumably a bit painful. Because it's viral, there's not a lot you can do by way of treatment. They do resolve spontaneously.
What, did you say you get some cream for the...
Yes, I'll give you some cream too.
A bit of cream, that is brilliant. Vet Anne had looked at it, she's quite happy. We've been given cream to take care of that. Otherwise, the lamb's in good health and fit to travel. So it's now go and do a couple of phone calls to see if I can get transportation down to Lothian Animal Rescue and Rehoming Centre down in Edinburgh. Okay, right, cheers now, bye-bye.
Andy's just collected 4 kittens in Nairn for rehoming, and nearly 8 miles away in the former fishing village of Ardasir, there's been a call making allegations about a rather unusual case.
It's a different one, yeah, this time it's alleged chicken neglect. I've had a call saying to suggest that there's a gentleman selling chickens from his house in the village Ardasir. They're meant to be kept in cramped conditions. There's some lying dead, so our main objective is to make sure that the welfare conditions of the chickens are sufficient, where it's not being compromised at all. So if it's just a bit of advice, if there's 1 or 2 things pointed up, put them in the right direction. If not, we would obviously take it further. If there's a severe neglect, it would be taken further.
In Ardasir, retired sailor Bill Mears is surveying his brood of hens.
I spent a fortune on this stuff, man. Anyway, the neighbour reckons I treat them better than bairns.
Unaware, he's about to have his collar felt by the Scottish SPCA. It's no longer the greatest show on earth, but there's still a buzz when the circus comes to town. Zippos is a fixture in Glasgow during the summer. It pitches its tent in Queen's Park, with human acts all playing an important part in making a spectacular show. But animals are popular too. Most of Zippos are horses, big and small. And they also have a troupe of talented budgies. If there are animals in the circus, the Scottish SPCA wants to make sure they're all being cared for properly.
Good morning.
And Senior Inspector Billy Linton is on the case. He's going to be shown around by Ringmaster Norman Barrett. Yasmin Smart comes from a circus dynasty. She's the niece of Billy Smart, whose shows played to crowds of 6,000 a night and entertained television audiences of more than 20 million at its peak in the 1970s.
This is the whips that I have in my hand. These are what I call the prolonged arms, because every movement I do with the whip is a command to them.
Yeah.
You know, if I lift it up, or I turn it, it's just to sort of slow them down.
Yeah.
And I put it down. There's a lash on the end, which is you never touch the horse. Maybe occasionally, just to bring him out, you just, what I say, caress the horse.
Yeah.
It's not used for...
It just has an unfortunate name.
Yes, it has an unfortunate name,
Yeah.
but I call them my prolonged arms.
Yeah, it certainly just looks like a piece of string on the end there.
Yeah.
Inspector Billy is satisfied with the condition of these horses, but will the rest of the animals meet his high standards?
We're off to the Blackheart Water in Johnston. We've had a call of fishermen who were out and they have found a dead German Shepherd dog that's been tied to something by the neck, and obviously it's now started to float to the top of the water. From their description, it looks like somebody's drowned their dog.
Senior Inspector Nikki Scott is anxious to find the body. The dog may have been mistreated, and if that's the case, the person responsible may be charged with animal cruelty, if they can be identified. Although Blackheart Water is very short, there's still a lot of ground to cover.
Oh, where do I go? To the river? Is it down that way? Thanks.
The person who phoned the Scottish SPCA didn't give them a precise location, so every path must be explored.
There's a good chance I'm going to get wet.
The river splits, and Nikki has to guess which way to go. If the dog is washed away before she gets to it, there'll be no chance of prosecuting the owner. Back on the south side of Glasgow, and Scottish SPCA Senior Inspector Billy Linton's gone to the circus. He's checking on the animals before any public performances begin. So far, Billy's been impressed by the way the horses are being cared for inside the ring. Now he wants to check on their welfare out of it.
Part of the problem, you see, Bill, those people that protest about the animals in circus, they say they're tied up for 23 3/4 hours a day. They don't get themselves out of bed and come and see them out in the paddock.
What we would look for, you've got a horse there drinking, it's drinking fresh water, he's got fresh grazing, you've got the stables nearby. If the weather becomes inclement, they can go in the stables if necessary, so you've got all that there.
This fencing, Harris fencing, is to keep the public out, because you can't believe how stupid people are at times. They'll climb inside or throw hamburgers into them.
Let the dogs go.
Or let the dogs go, you see. So
What you've got now is everything's on show, the public are welcome, anybody's welcome to come in. You know, the stables are there, the loose boxes are there. There's nothing behind closed doors that I can see anyway.
well, you can see, what you see is what we do. These are the loose boxes where they live. The only time they are tethered is just before the performance, after they've been groomed and got ready for the show, so that they don't lay down and get all dirty. But as you can see, there's plenty of room, standard size.
As well as the large horses, Zippos also has a few miniature horses called falabellas. They're quite a rare breed, and although they're very small, Billy is still concerned they've enough room.
Is this the normal pen?
Yeah, where they are at night, but they spend most of the time out in the cave. They spend more time out there than...
Yeah, I know, I've been here before and they've been with...
Yeah.
They mix well with the other horses. Yeah, no, I mean, when you're looking at the size of the horse, in relation to the size of the horses that we've been looking at, and the amount of space they've got, there's nothing distressed here. You know, they've got water on offer, they've got hay on offer, they've got room to move about when they want to, and they've only been in here a short period of time, and they get access to the outside enclosure too, with the larger horses. So they're quite content.
At the Blackheart Water near Johnson, Nikki Scott is still on the hunt for the body of a dog someone claims has been thrown into the river. But after a long search, there's still no sign of it. Then, Nikki gets a lucky break. 3 young fishermen reckon they've seen the body in the water and can take Nikki to it.
How far?
The water is moving quickly, so there's a chance the animal might have been swept away from where it was originally seen. But the lads are still sure they know where it is.
See its back sticking at the bottom?
Oh, aye.
And sure enough, there it is. But it's not what Nikki was expecting.
Been told it was a black German Shepherd dog that had something tied around its neck and then had been obviously in the water and was floating back up. But after a 3-mile hike, to me it looks like a deer.
It's hard to tell how decomposed the body is, so it could be difficult for Nikki to confirm what kind of animal she's dealing with. Nikki arrives to take a look.
Aye, it's a calf, Tom. Or is it?
She's still not sure,
Wait a
so
minute,
she's on the
look at
phone
it.
to her boss for advice.
Actually, it's a foal, Tom. Now somebody should be missing that. But that's more a welfare issue than a calf.
Animals decompose more quickly in water, but this one has most of its hair intact, so chances are it's not been in the river for long.
Whose is that going to be?
That means a post-mortem can be carried out to find out how the foal died. And that could determine whether or not charges are brought against the owner, if they can be traced.
Right, no bother, I'll get pickies. It's not like it would go down for water at that age. Do you know what I mean? It'd be different like if it was going for a drink, but it's not going to, not that age. It's still got its umbilical cord, it's like a brand spanking new foal. If we can get it to my van, I'm going to take it to the vet school for a post-mortem and see how it died and try and trace an owner. The owner should have reported the foal missing because you would know your mare's foaled. So there's no reason they shouldn't know. Thanks very much, boys.
Back in Ardesseer near Inverness, Scottish SPCA Senior Inspector Andy Brown is investigating a strange case. Alleged chicken neglect. He's been called to the house of retired sailor Bill Mears, who's been accused of mistreating his hens and chicks.
Good morning. Andy Brown, Scottish SPCA here. You got chickens? I would recall somebody concerned the conditions they've been kept in. Any chance of a wee look? What are you doing with these chickens? You selling them? Is it a hobby, is it? Where are they all now?
At the back.
There's ones in the house, you know?
Oh, the baby one. Several.
What do you incubate them in here and then take them outside? Is that what happens? Right. So what have you all got in here? Is that the only live ones you've got in here?
Yeah.
Right. And what are they in? Have these just hatched?
Just hatched. Have a look at them.
Right. Okay. How old are these?
Well, a couple this morning and a couple yesterday and a couple the day before.
Right. And then you take them out to the shed in the garden, is it?
And then about 3 or 4 days, yeah.
Yeah, once they're big enough to do that and they go out there.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Although Bill seems to know what he's doing, Andy's still worried some of the chicks might be suffering.
Is they just hatched, no? No.
There's one in.
There's one in there I'm seeing.
Hang on,
Right.
hang on.
What's that wee thing in itself there?
That's in intensive care.
Oh, is that your invalids?
No, when I come out of the incubator, I put them in there.
All right, and then before they go in there. Ah, I see. Sorry, I thought it was straight for the incubator into this bit here.
The scene in Bill's house is certainly unconventional, with incubators, chicks and unhatched eggs all over the place.
What part of the world are they coming from, do you know?
All over England and that.
England, that coming up south. Just by courier, is it?
Post, no, the post and then, but
Oh, those polystyrene things. Oh, right, aye. Oh, no. And you put them in and then you sell them on. Right, okay.
And it appears more newborns are about to hatch.
10 them twice a day, 3 times a day. And wait 21 days. Half of them, no chance. 80%. Because they've been on the road. Travelling about on the road. It's a hobby. Pastime. Now I'm retired, you see. Got something to do with something. Otherwise you go crazy. Huh?
So far, Andy hasn't seen anything to make him think Bill is mistreating his chickens. But will a visit to the garden change his mind? Billy Linton's at the Circus in Glasgow. He's already given a clean bill of health to the horses. Now he's going to find out how Zippos treats an altogether different animal.
Come in, come in, come in. Come in, come on, guys. Come on.
Its troupe of performing budgies. An act that's presented by ringmaster Norman Barrett.
Every day, every morning, I wash all of this out. All the perch has been washed, and the nails checked, and the beaks are checked.
No, certainly they're not distressed. I can feel it is quite warm in here. I know you've got ventilation again on the door and stuff.
Yeah.
Is there any other form of ventilation in here if it gets warm?
Yeah, I've got a fan there.
There's a fan?
Fan's there.
So there is forced ventilation?
Oh yes, forced ventilation fan. Well, there's 2 fans, there's another fan at the back.
Yeah.
The final thing Billy wants to check is how Norman actually works with the birds. And for that, you need a grand entrance into the big top.
You like to sit down there, Bill, and watch what's going on? It's fine, good boy, good boy. Winnie, Jonta, Percy.
Everything seems to be moving quite freely there. There doesn't seem to be any sort of resistance or exertion.
Listen, there's no stress with anything, because when I'm trained, I train with music. I have music going for the same reason that horses have music going. Lights are going. And look, guys, you're all coming up to me, you're all standing around. This is all new. They're not bothered a bit by anything that's going on. You know, it's,
very calm.
Yeah.
As usual, when we come along, we come unannounced, so anything that you're seeing in the raw state. A few little pointers, nothing to do with animal welfare, though, some tools lying about and stuff like that where the horses were walking, but I know that'll be addressed. Some people, you know, they'll attend their horses daily and maybe ride them at the weekend or do something like that. These horses are attended regularly throughout the day. They're performing twice a day. They're going through a routine in the morning, so they've always got a chance to socialise with each other. Even the falabellas are together, and they've got plenty of room, fresh water on offer.
It's good news. Billy's visit has gone well, and the animals he's seen, the ones you pay to watch, are fit and healthy. Our dead foal, pulled from the Blackheart Water near Johnson, has been post-mortemed, and the results showed it was born alive. Most likely, it overbalanced when it tried to stand up and tumbled into the water, then drowned. It was a natural accident, but Nikki thinks it was totally avoidable.
A responsible horse owner would have been keeping an eye on that mare to see when she was due to foal. They're always going to slip the net, but there are telltale signs of when they're going to foal that you can keep an eye on. She should have been getting better managed. It's just very bad management, and the fact that they didn't even know that she's given birth out here on her own, her first foal. The foal's fallen in the water. So yeah, it was definitely avoidable.
Unfortunately, it hasn't been possible to prove the owner of the mare that gave birth to the foal was negligent, which means they go unpunished. We're back in Ardesseer near Inverness.
Phil, I'm just want to see what conditions they're being kept in, you know? That's what I'm here for, the welfare of the chickens, aye?
Andy Brown is investigating a claim that retired sailor Bill Mears is ill-treating his chickens. But after a thorough search of the house, there's no evidence.
Just a wee look.
What will his examination of the garden uncover?
Right, so they're still getting a bit of heat here, aye? Is that some in the shed too, aye?
Nothing sinister going on at all. In fact, Andy seems impressed by Bill's setup.
Food and water, that's fine. You've got a wee heater in there as well, which is pretty good.
It's a pastime when I'm retired. And it really fills the day up, you know. Nothing else to do when you're retired, is it? Not fit for anything else. So I did it when I was a kid. Kept bantams. So, yeah, just went back to it, sort of thing.
Fine so far. They've all got food and water in front of them, even heaters with a wee lot there, so yeah, it's maybe not straightforward, but you know, any bird, I haven't seen any ill or sick birds at all. As I say, the main thing, food and water being available for them, and they all seem quite healthy. He's obviously passionate about what he does. It's maybe not everybody's ideal situation, but at the end of the day, their welfare's not been compromised at the end I've seen at the moment.
Andy is satisfied Bill's not mistreating his birds. This accusation about chicken neglect can be filed as a groundless complaint, and Bill can carry on hatching the eggs and selling his chicks.